Hi, you're watching Wall Street Confidential. I am talking with Jim Cramer, and we're talking about Goldman Sachs. What's going on?
All right.
with
Well,
this
first of
company?
all, I'm using a $5 loss, which is considerably worse than what every analyst is doing. Why? Because I feel like this is an opportunity to take a look at what's in the book value and knock out a gigantic amount of what's known as level 3 assets, the frozen assets. I think Goldman, if you have a $5 loss, which again is far worse than anyone's thinking, you knock book value to 94. So now you're buying this thing at like maybe 70% of book.
Okay.
Now, I do not think the book is corrupt. I think David Vineyard, who's the CFO, is really unbelievably good and honest. But someone when I put out the query, because this is all anybody's talking about. I put out the query to everybody at Goldman this weekend. 2 technicians came back to me and said that stock doesn't bottom to 40. And I came back immediately and said, well, that means it's selling at half book and whatever. And they just came back and said, Jim, the charts are in control. Now, when the charts are in control, I like to go against the charts.
Okay.
And I like to say, okay, look, I genuinely believe that if you buy this stock at 80% of book or 7% of book, you're going to make money. But everyone who has said that is so discredited, including Buffett. Now, of course, Buffett doesn't get discredited when he buys something. I get discredited when I buy something. But I own a fractionalownersplus.com, and I'm waiting to be able to find a time when I'm not frozen in it so I can buy more.
Okay.
Fortunately, I've been frozen in it. I've missed it. I've dodged 30 points. But I think that it's important to recognize that they're going to take a big charge. They'll have a big loss, and then they still have an ongoing business. And the question is that ongoing business good enough? Now, they fired 3,500 people on Thursday. That is not confidence inspiring. In this market, when you fired people, it typically means that you're in huge trouble. There are very few people who try to get ahead of a slowdown and fire. I think that Goldman's trying to get ahead of a big slowdown and fire people. That's my understanding of the Goldman culture. That, again, is not being reflected in the stock.
And Goldman was always known for cleaning house once a year,
Proactive.
the dead weight,
Proactive.
very methodical.
For a while they weren't, but yes, they came back to that. And I would, when they were run by investment banking, now they're run by trading. But I feel like that the silence from Goldman is deadly.
What is the business that's going to come into this firm?
We see one of the things that's great about the securities business, we don't know. We don't know. There'll be something though. When I was there, we were at
smart enough to always figure out a way to bring
We
money
were
in
the doldrums when I was there, and then someone came up with the idea of wrapping up a lot of auto loans and creating a bond. And now, of course, that's been the staple of almost of trillions of dollars of bonds. But I heard it and I said, wow, I don't know if that'll fly. And the next thing you know, there's a thriving business for it. Then the tax code changed, and they made it so that municipals could raise money and then go buy treasuries with them. So suddenly I was selling bonds for Guam. Everybody was doing that trade. And then suddenly the Turnpike needed money. So the Turnpike did a $5 billion equity bond offering. I mean, what I'm saying is that capitalism reinvents itself, and Goldman's always been at the core of it.
So we have confidence in Goldman.
You could argue that who am I to have confidence in Goldman? I've liked it all the way down, but I also liked it all the way up. It's just that now we're like all the way down.
Thank you, Jim. We're going to keep our eye on Goldman, and this is Deborah at Wall Street Confidential. Stay tuned for more.